Certainly, many things have changed over the last 3 years, pre-COVID, post-COVID. Inventory used to be a bad word. Then we hit COVID, and all of a sudden, we ran out of toilet paper in all the stores. And so companies got smart, and people were home, so e-commerce took off. And we know the story there. So the industrial boom kind of really launched right during that time, believe it or not. I think I read the other day, right now we have 76 million square feet of industrial under construction in the DFW area, like at the end of the third quarter of this year. It's a number I can't even fathom. Back in the old days, industrial building was, you had a couple paint colors, a couple carpet colors and metal halide lights, and it was just a warehouse. Now, you can walk into some industrial buildings and they're like Class A. They put a tremendous amount of effort into the office component. So they're really combining. So you're not taking down a lease somewhere in a downtown area, office high-rise, and then your distribution over here. They kind of brought those together. So that's a trend that really is great for us because we get to show our expertise in both sectors. The other thing, by combining, your office or executive resources within an industrial building, usually you're closer to the suburban areas, so your people don't have to drive as far. I mean, I think there's a lot of benefits that we're seeing through that. Obviously, you're saving on rental rates. You're not taking down 2 leases and really expensive Class A office space, and industrial over here, they're kind of combining, and which is really, I think, very smart. And South Dallas and Alliance and Fort Worth are just booming, and we're seeing a lot of that approach, where you're putting a really high-end, almost Class A type office in a warehouse building. The hardest thing that we had dealt with, COVID, post-COVID, has been material price escalation. It changes daily, almost. The good news is we are seeing that level off a bit, finally. Will it ever come back down to earth? I don't know. Concrete's still kind of up and down, but for the most part, structural steel and roofing, some of that's leveled off, which is great. I think one of the reasons why is because the Federal Reserve continues to raise the interest rate, try to control that. So there's a good and bad there. So we're seeing a little bit of a slowdown on new construction. Even though 76 million is under construction now, new deals, I think developers are getting a little cold feet, just kind of trying to figure out where the market's headed, where the interest rates are going. So next year may be a little slower on new starts, but we luckily have a strong pipeline already for next year. And I think in 2024, it'll rebound just like it always does, and we'll be off and running again. The population has just continued to grow exponentially here in North Texas and especially in Central Texas. So the win there, all of these businesses and corporations are putting their headquarters and large offices here, large warehouses here, and that tax revenue. In fact, South Dallas right now is a place that has really benefited from some of that tax revenue, and you can see it. The improvements being made on the roads and infrastructure. I mean, they're using that money and putting it to use. So we're seeing a lot of activity in Houston right now. Austin is certainly where most activity is, and on at least the industrial and ground up side, with all the massive players that are moving there. Samsung's going to invest $95 billion in the Taylor-Hutto area, just right on the outskirts of Austin. And I mean, that is a number that I can't even get my head around. But that is going to bring a tremendous amount of offshoot business. So that's, really white hot. And I see Central Texas growing faster than Dallas in the industrial world over the next 5 years. Our biggest challenge, and it's known, and the solution is harder than it would appear, but people. To get in position to deliver with excellence across all service lines, you need good people, you need good resources. We talk every day to people out in the market, and even if we don't have an open position, we're always out there talking, getting to know them, because we've got to find the right people. There's definitely a gap, and it's real. I think that there's a perception of going into the trades that it's hard work. I saw my dad come home tired every day. I don't want to do that. Even though things have gotten, the technology's made a lot of those jobs much more efficient and less challenging from a physical standpoint. But we are seeing a great gap in the super knowledgeable, seasoned veterans in the industry, you know, tapping out and on the tail end, and you know, some of the new ones coming in that just don't have that experience or expertise yet. And so there's going to be a challenge there. Again, that's across the whole construction industry. So it's going to be tough to solve that one. The one way to solve it is money. You know, you change your mind when there's a salary out there that, you know, is different than maybe what you could go do somewhere else. So it's going to have to be solved at some point, because we're just really running into a challenge with the appropriate level of resources and skilled resources. I'm excited to see the younger generation come into the market. They come in with an incredible amount of skill around the technology, and seeing how that's played into how we deliver has been really good. We didn't have half the tools back when I was starting out that we do now. So watching this next generation come in, and what are they going to bring to the table? How are they going to influence what construction looks like? How are they going to influence, you know, the design components of an industrial / Class A office is going to evolve into? So I guess that's what's exciting, is just to see where it goes from here. As long as the demand's strong, which it is and will be, it just gives us an opportunity to see where it goes, be a part of it.